Welcome back to Morning Lemonade. I got two in a row done today. I can definitely feel the difference in my day when I do this early. When you have something that's keeping you up at night, something that is not going away during the day, where you can't make peace by night, starting early to make the best out of it for that day that you can, for me, has been a sort of therapy. And I definitely hope it helps someone else to figure what works for them. Maybe for you, in the evening is the best way to deal with what you're dealing with. Maybe it's the afternoon. Maybe it's, you know, everybody is different. But I um I like the way I'm feeling today, cuz honestly I'm honestly taking it day by day. I can't do anymore. I don't know what's going to happen. I am just trying to make it through the day cuz I got to be here for my babies. They need me. I cannot, I will not leave them. I'm a mother, and now that's the top relationship on this earth for me is mother. And my trust factor has dropped so low. That might be it. Excuse me. That might be it. So yesterday I left off telling you all about when the police brought me inside and sat me down in the chair. And by the way, I hope you're okay today. So yeah, sat me in the chair. It was a guy detective, and he says, "Hey, well, I'm still asking what's going on." And he's like, "Hey, I have to wait till the other detective gets here. But in the meantime, I just want to ask you some questions." And I keep looking around because, my front door is open. There's red, blue, and white lights lighting up the yard. And of course, my kids were asleep. So I'm worried about them waking up scared, hearing strangers' voices. And at the same time, I don't want to make any sudden moves. I mean, we all know things that have been happening, and I still didn't know why they were here. So I didn't want my kids hurt. I didn't want to be hurt. Excuse me. So I'm trying to sit there and listen for my babies. And so the detective tells me, "So the way I want to just kind of ask you some questions, and the way I want to do it is, I'll ask you some questions, but I'll answer them first, okay?" And I'm looking at him like, "Okay." So the first thing he asks me is, "Have you ever watched pornography?" And he says, "I have." And I said, "Yeah." Excuse me. And he's like, "About how long ago?" And I'm like, "I don't know, a few months ago." And then he's like, "Yeah, I've watched it recently, and this and that." And I honestly can't remember kind of where he went from there. But he's asked me what kind I watch or what site I would go to, something like that. And I was telling him, it's definitely not something I try to do, something I'm proud of doing. So there's a very main one I think most people who've ever watched it know about, and I mentioned it. He said, "Yeah, that's a pretty known one. You know, they have a pretty wide variety, something like that." I'm like, "Okay." And in my mind, I'm like, "This is some weird small talk, right?" Excuse me. And I'm still glancing around, listening for my kids. You know, seeing officers walk, and they're being so loud. I'm like, "My kids are asleep. What are y'all doing?" And then this woman walks to the door. So the guy that was talking to me, she gets another one of my dining room chairs and sits across from me. So the guy continues talking about I don't even know right now. And so after a while, he stopped and introduced me to her. Tells me her name, and I'm asking her, "So what are y'all here for?" And I asked her, "Are you sure you're at the right house?" And she said, "Yes, ma'am." So okay. So then the guy officer, and you know he was nice. Um, I'm pretty sure the look on my face was just confusion because nothing was making sense. Excuse me. But when you don't have all the story, nothing does make sense, right? So he then introduces me to her, tells me her name. Then he said, "Okay, so let me also tell you all the things, all the departments I work in, or all the things that I work." So he tells me he's out of actually a different locality than I live in. And he says, "So the things that I work are vice and internet crimes." And I think he mentioned one or two other things. And I'm still just kind of like, okay. So then she says, "Yeah, and here in this locality where you are, I handle internet crimes as well, such as child," and she might have gotten the P out, and I visually flinched. And she stopped. She said, "Why did you react like that?" And I said, "Because it sounds like you were about to say child pornography." And she said, "But why did it make you react like that?" I said, "Because I have kids here." So she looks at me and she said, "Well, child pornography is why we are here." And I just started rocking in my non-rocking chair because everything and nothing went through my mind at one time. As I later came to realize, I didn't even really know what that meant. I've heard of it. I have never in my life seen it. I have never in my life looked for it. I've heard of it because I'm grown enough to have heard about it. And my mind at this point, honestly, is a blur exactly what I said. But she went on to say, you know, "We're here serving a search warrant." She laid it out on the table. I noticed it said "no knock search warrant." And I was petrified. I was mad. I was sad. I was disappointed. I was angry. I was disgusted. Tune in next time. Again, share your stories with me. Share your advice. Share your suggestions, share your love. I appreciate any and everything I can get right now to feel that I'm not alone. And my babies, they got me, right? But I can't do this by myself. So thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Stay in contact with me. You all can be my community. And remember that tomorrow needs you.